Hello Namibia, and welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we get to catch up on current events and headlines that are in the news. I am your host Priska Agnolo and you are watching NMH at 1. Your feed is the first thing I'm reading your story. SWAPO suffered big losses in the regional council and local authority elections in the southern parts of Namibia. In our interview today, the ruling party's acting regional coordinator for the Karas region, James Christian, congratulates candidates, but says SWAPO will keep a hawk's eye on the opposition.
The point of why we have lost, the reasons behind that one. But before I went to that one, let me congratulate all the parties that won in these regional elections. They won the regional elections, so we congratulate them as SWAPO party Karas, and we wish them all the best of luck. We are always there because we care for the Namibian people. We lost, now let me say, the Karas regional executive and the leaders of the SWAPO party, together with the assigned leaders to the region, went out in full to campaign and to make the people aware about the SWAPO party and what we can offer them. But as it is, electorate always decide which party to elect. That is the one reason that we cannot say why, actually. But let's say the other parties have brought promises that can look attractive for them. Now the difference is attractive, but is it executable? And they have just possibly elect on that they feel it's attractive. Let me be clear. You can feel on the ground that there is a tribal issue even. Tribalism, you can fully feel it. Not even regionalism as much, but that you see a certain group is on that side, because they were giving a hope, telling them that we are for you, this tribe. That can have an influence on the results. But we accept. We said as SWAPO party, we will stay on course. We will not fight with anyone. We will support for the best of the region. Let me then went further and said, what is it that we will do now as party? What we will do now is, it's not to do a lot of things, because now, as the electorate have elected, the party in Karas region is LPM that is leading the region. And therefore, we have not much to do. What is now that we are now there. That time we are the ones who are responsible. Now we are here to watch and see what they can bring according to their promises. But for the party itself, SWAPO party, the first start that we will start with is to make sure that the sections and the branches and the district structures operate in full. That especially at the level of structure of the sections, all the members of the party are included, and that no one should feel left out, and that everybody should have, or let me say, the views of everybody must be acknowledged and valued. That is what we will try to make sure that it happens. And then that we will, on the end of the day, as the regional executive, we will make sure that the sections report and account from time to time, the branches account, the districts account, so that we can take them and make them responsible for what is on the ground. I believe SWAPO party have one of the best constitutions in terms of the structures. And if the structures operate, no one can be left out. The only thing, there's a lot of blames that come that people are excluded, comes because the sections are not operating accordingly and the branches at the lowest level. So the people are blaming the highest authorities. But it's not the highest authorities. As long as the constitution is followed and we are operating at the sectional level. So that is what we will now do. We will make sure sections and branches operate fully for the best of the Namibians. On the development projects, SWAPO said, SWAPO is the ruling party. SWAPO is the accountable party. SWAPO is a responsible party. SWAPO, they have programs. They are, as ruling party, responsible for all Namibians, irrespective of the political parties that is ruling or who have won at the elections. SWAPO party will take the responsibility as the national ruling party to make sure that projects already existing must be executed and that new projects coming should be funded so that the party, SWAPO party and the government don't leave the people on the ground.
Yeah, sorry, on that point, I just want to find out, is that your redemptive measure? Is that your way to perhaps redeem yourself in, say, the next election? Is that where you guys are at?
Yeah, what we said and what I can say is from our side, we will redeem us to the best, irrespective whether we are in control. And we will try to fulfill the national duty of the state and not concentrating on the parties, that is, or whether it is opposition party. And that is what the president have confirmed already, that we will not take away anything from the regions, but we will assist as government, as responsible government under all circumstances. And therefore, let me say, there is Neckertal Dam as a project. We have already finished the dam itself, but the irrigation part is still not finished. The party will commit themselves to make sure that that part is developed and that part starts to operate. We will make sure that no one from this region is excluded in the execution and in the development of the irrigation projects. And we will stand for that one, irrespective of what people say. Then, thereafter, no doubt we know there is employment situations, conditions that is not good. The party, whether it is which party's councillor, will still commit themselves to see to it that the conditions change and that people that are employed there should get the recent salaries, recent training where it needs, recent, let me say, relationship with the NITA actually. And that is what we are committing ourselves. We have other programs, there is the housing here and Rospina proclamation. That one definitely will not stop fighting for. As I'm talking, there is a lot of other projects that we can talk about. But what we say is, let's commit us to that which is already existing. Let's see which ones will come. And let's not stand back, because that is Namibians that must be served. That is the stand of the SWAPO party. SWAPO party will do and take this responsibility up until the end. I thank you.
The news of the day is, however, this morning's announcement of adjusted measures against COVID-19 at State House. The new measures will last 14 days, but both President Hage Geingob and Justice Minister Yvonne Dauseb emphasized that a state of emergency, lockdowns and travel restrictions can be imposed if the spreading of the virus is not contained. Yochanan Kutsia compiled the following highlights from the press briefing at State House.
In view of the concerning rise in the number of positive COVID-19 cases recorded in Namibia in recent weeks, I will announce necessary adjustments to the current measures in line with our national response to the pandemic. As we have stated since the beginning of the pandemic, we will continue to implement a robust response to this unprecedented challenge. Fellow Namibians, given developments in recent weeks, it is vital to take the necessary steps to ensure that our response is adequate to meet the challenge. It is now evident that Namibia is experiencing a second wave of rising COVID-19 infections. In fact, the number of COVID-19 related hospital admissions have sharply increased in different parts of the country. The number of COVID-19 and related deaths have also increased in recent weeks. Against this background, it is imperative that some amendments to the regulations are effected in order to suppress further spread of COVID-19 in the country and hopefully engender changes in public behavior. Following our amendments to the public health COVID-19 regulations issued by the Minister of Health, Social Services under the Public Environmental Health Act 2015. The amendments are recommended for implementation with effect from 23:59 hours Wednesday, today, 16th December 2020, 1 minute to midnight, for a period of 14 days until 30 December 2020. I'm also not ruling out the chance that I may call emergency meeting and take drastic actions that will load down if people don't cooperate. Public gatherings. The number of public gatherings is reduced from the current limit of 200 to a minimum of 50 persons indoors and maximum of 100 persons outdoors. From 200 to 50 persons indoors and maximum of 100 persons outdoors at a time. It is a requirement that conveners and organizers of such gatherings keep registers of attendees at each gathering, record body temperatures of attendees in such registers, and provide facilities for guests to wash their hands with soap or to sanitize their hands. Physical distancing of no less than 1.5 meters between persons must be maintained at all times. 2, correct wearing of face mask remains mandatory at all public settings. I don't know whether I'm wearing mine okay, but enforcement of this measure will be intensified, meaning police will be there to follow. Don't insult them. They will be there to enforce because we are failing to comply with the regulations ourselves. So somebody has to force us for our own survival. Owners of retail outlets, shopping malls, offices, bars, shippings, entertainment venues, etc., are urged to ensure that persons entering or those present on their premises abide by the public health regulations, such as correct wearing of face masks, physical distancing, sanitizing, or washing of hands. Please, these are simple things you can do to save life. 3, bars, nightclubs, casinos, and all restaurants are to close for business at 22 hours, 10 o'clock old time, Monday to Sunday, up to 10 p.m., 20 hours, Monday to Sunday. All indoor dining tables to be arranged 2 meters apart. Associated public health measures must be complied with. Please. 4, with respect to public passenger transportation, all drivers and passengers are to wear masks throughout the trip and journey. Throughout. 5, enforcement is critical to ensure adherence to these public health measures in public places, and the law enforcement agencies are hereby directed to deploy personnel and ensure compliance. We appeal to them to be professional. We are also appealing you to comply with the orders given, so there will be no insults developing or people being injured. We are doing it in your own interest. You don't need police to tell you to protect your health. But since you are careless, police will be there to help. Comply with their instructions, please, to avoid pushing and so on. That you can go and report there is a brutality of police. Comply, it's your own life.
Allow me to contextualize the COVID-19 situation in the world and how Namibia relates to the rest of the world. According to Johns Hopkins statistic of the 15th December 2020, the world has recorded 73,418,181 cases of COVID-19, with 1,633,272 deaths, representing a 2.2% case fatality ratio. As of 15 December 2020, Namibia has recorded 16,913 cases with 164 deaths, representing a 0.97% case fatality ratio. Namibia case fatality ratio is 2.2 times lower than the world total. Namibia has started to experience a significant increase of confirmed cases since the first week of December 2020. On the 11th of December 2020, the country recorded the highest number to date of confirmed cases at a total of 324 within 24 hours period since the outbreak started in March 2020. High numbers of positive cases have been recorded since then. This is a strong indication that, like many countries around the world, Namibia is experiencing a second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. As of the 15th December 2020, a cumulative number of 178,677 COVID-19 tests have been conducted, translating into 70 tests per 100,000 population. This placed Namibia in third place on the African continent in terms of the total tests conducted. Namibia is thus doing remarkably well in terms of testing coverage. The turnaround time still stands at 24 to 72 hours for the results to become available. From the 1st of December 2020 to date, a total of 2,497 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed, compared to 850 cases during the period 14 days prior to the last COVID-19 public briefing on the national response and preparedness. This is an exponential increase by 1,647 cases, or 194%. This is quite alarming. Additionally, the increase in cases has been observed in 9 regions, namely Khomas, Erongo, Ochobanjupa, Karas, Kunene, Oshana, Oshikoto, Kavango East, and Omsati. We continue to report on increase in the number of COVID-19 confirmed cases among healthcare workers. The cumulative number of infections among healthcare workers stand at 702. Since the last briefing, we have recorded 139 infections among healthcare workers compared to 29 infections recorded in the preceding 14 days. This places a huge burden on the health system as it affects the country's capability and capacity to respond to the pandemic.
I want to also just indicate, Your Excellency, if I may, that the Minister of Health and Social Services has broad powers that are provided for under Section 29 of the Public and Environmental Health Act. And under that act, Your Excellency, the Minister can actually introduce, if in the next 14 days that we have introduced these new measures, there are indications that the cases are going up, the Minister may actually introduce measures such as, and I want to emphasize this, to indicate to people that they may not come into an affected area or they may not move around in that affected area. It is one of the powers that the Minister has. He also has the power to close down public entertainment places if it requires of us. If over the next 14 days we do get an indication that people are either not doing what they need to do in terms of health protocols, the Minister has the power to take additional measures to reduce the movement of people even. And that includes, when he considers necessary, that he can actually prohibit totally the meeting, gathering, assembling, or entertainment of any kind. And we hope that Namibians will comply with the requirements of avoiding as much as we can overcrowding or crowded places. And in the event that we are in crowded places, that we maintain the public health protocols that have been set out today. I do want to clarify, Your Excellency, if I may, public settings would also mean private dwellings the moment they include people that are not from the same household. The moment people gather at a place that includes not only family members, that would be considered a public gathering, and we encourage people, even when they have parties at home, that they maintain the consistent wearing of masks, and also that only in the instances that people are eating and drinking that the mask be taken off. I know that oftentimes when we are in a private setting, we do forget about the fact that the people that have come into our homes are not people that are from our household, but also we don't know where they've been and what they've been up to. So for your own safety, we encourage people, in fact, not just encourage, it's mandatory that people continue to wear their masks.
When we locked down Walvis Bay, press, everybody, people from there, from other part of Walvis Bay, were even protesting, referring to their freedom of movement. Then, while we were trying to save the human life, we were being told by business, tourists, that economy is dying. So can we do both? We resisted. Criticism was there. That economy is going down. People are suffering. Do something to address both. That's what we're trying to do.
Health Minister Kalumbi Shangula this morning again said authorities are investigating the causes of a huge increase in the number of healthcare workers testing positive. As our COVID-19 monitor shows, 107 new care workers tested positive over the 7 days that ended on Monday, at an average of 15 cases per day. In Windhoek, 55 additional healthcare workers tested positive, 18 in the Shakati Health District, which includes Ondangwa and Ongwediva, and 15 in the Karas region. In the Kunene region, where new outbreaks are also occurring in Korigas and Opuo, 6 carers contracted the virus. Namibia by Monday had 1,765 patients in formal or self-isolation. The largest groups are located in Khomas region with 916, Karas 255, Oshana 114, and 110 active cases in the Oshotanjupa region. Let's go for a quick ad break and I'll be right back to tell you what is leading Namibia's print media today. And now on to our front page news. Namibian Sun investigates the reasons why a Namibian mother living in Dar es Salaam murdered her 2 young children. While Republican reports that an oxygen shortage at Windhoek's Katutura Hospital is being corrected. The Algemeine Zeitung leads with Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta's lashing out at the NWR because of the state of the Namutoni Fort in the Etosha National Park. The Namibian seems to have gotten it spot on that no lockdowns were to be announced today. And the new era leads with the suspension of municipal officials in Walvis Bay to allow an unhindered investigation into the alleged disappearance of 24 million Namibian dollars meant for affordable housing. And from the newspaper's inside pages. Market Watch reports in detail on the findings in FNB Namibia's latest housing index, which shows an increase in mean prices. According to The Sun, a request by SOEs that government provide directors with indemnity insurance has been rejected. Republican tells why Saturn in Jupiter will almost be one on the 21st of December. And the AZ reports on a huge baobab tree in the Mahango National Park, which was apparently felled after a lightning strike. The Namibian repeats the message that schools will not hold back grade 1 to 9 learners who at least made an effort in the very disrupted 2020 school year. And New Era reports on the Namibian police's festive season operation launched yesterday called Hoka Nam. And that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We do wish you a lovely day ahead and to stay tuned for a summary of today's weather prospects.